It feels like at the moment not a month goes by without a shiny new camera release. Last week was no different with Sony's release of the RX1R3, which seemingly split the internet in two. Specs like advanced AI autofocus, 60 megapixel images, 120 frames a second and 8K video. You suddenly start to feel like your camera just isn't good enough anymore. But is it? Do you really need to keep up with this merry-go-round of camera upgrades? If you're a photography lover who wants to get better and wonders if a new camera is the way to do that, or even a working pro who feels the pressure to upgrade every year, then this video is for you. It feels to me like camera companies have learned from smartphones. Every year or two, a new model comes out with incremental upgrades, but is marketed as being essential. Pretty much. In the last 5 years, from the 5 major camera manufacturers, Canon, Nikon, Fujifilm, Sony and Panasonic, there have been approximately 85 new cameras released, which is an absolutely staggering number. It's starting to feel like the camera releases aren't really about what you need, but they're more about what the companies need. Profit and growth for shareholders. And social media just makes this unavoidable. We feel left behind, but the people we tend to follow amplify that insecurity. They don't mean to do this. They want to be using the latest cameras, but the camera companies behind all this, they absolutely do want you feeling like that. The big leaps in photography have pretty much already happened. Film to digital, 6 megapixels to 25 megapixels, contrast to phase detection, autofocus. Now we're just polishing the edges with features that the majority of us just won't ever use. Do you truly need AI insect eye detection, or crazy burst rates that give you an unworkable number of images, or 8K video that you can barely even process on a standard computer? They are all cool features, but does it make your photography any better? This is a bit of a harsh truth. The biggest upgrade you can make is not to your camera. It's your ability to see and compose a photograph. No new camera is ever going to give you vision, creativity, and timing. I get it, people want a shortcut, and a new camera feels like that, but better gear isn't going to fix poor technique or a stuck mindset. So, before upgrading your gear, upgrade your craft. Learn to see and understand light, learn to compose, and challenge yourself creatively with the gear you already have. Just to prove my point, I took to social media and my email newsletter followers and I asked them for images shot on cameras over 5 years old. Now, 5 years to a lot of people seems old when it comes to cameras, but really I probably should have gone older than that. I probably should have gone 10 to 15 years old. And some of these images were taken on cameras that old and older, and I got an absolutely mind-blowing response to this. I got well over 750 replies in total, so I can't even attempt to show all of them. But what these images should hopefully show you is how good a photo you can make on a camera that isn't brand new, that isn't an upgrade of a camera that was only released a few years ago. All of these images were made on 10, 12, 15-year-old cameras, and they're all absolutely beautiful. Thank you all of you that sent me images for this. I've seen some incredible work. I've been made aware of some amazing photographers, and it couldn't have argued my point much better. To be fair, for professionals that are pushing the boundaries, those that are at the absolute top of their game, some of these upgrades might make sense. It's these marginal gains that keep them at the top of their field. But I am almost certain that none of them are watching this video. But upgrading also makes sense for some of us who are truly limited by their gear. So do an honest self-audit if you do want to upgrade. What is actually holding you back? Valid reasons for this might be that you need to upgrade to a body with image stabilization. I've gone down this route myself because I like to do some low light photography, so need image stabilization for that. Maybe that's your reason. Maybe you do have an old camera and need better autofocus for wildlife or sports photography. Maybe you're on an old DSLR and you want to try your hand at video. In that case, upgrading your camera will also make sense, but it doesn't necessarily need to be to the newest model. Or maybe your camera's actually dying, and that is probably a fairly valid reason to upgrade, but at least look at repairing it before you do that. So is it an actual problem, Or is it just the fear of missing out? People like new stuff. I like new stuff. I love buying new cameras. It is a lot of fun to get a new camera. And you could argue that a new camera might make you go out and shoot more. In fact, it probably will make you go out and shoot more, certainly initially. But after a time, that feeling of newness wears off. It's like when you upgrade your phone. At first, brilliant, it's a brand new phone. But after a few weeks or months, it's just your iPhone again. It's seemingly no different to the one you had before. Now, I've had people calling me a hypocrite for voicing this opinion before because I shoot with relatively new gear. And yeah, I can absolutely see their point, but I had my reasons for upgrading to the cameras that I did at the times that I did, and most of it was down to my professional work I was doing as a freelance filmmaker and photographer. But I've bought into this cycle. I've felt the itch. I can look at some of the upgrades I've done and admit that at the time I did it for a confidence boost. I did it because I was suffering from imposter syndrome, and I thought that a new camera would make me seem more professional or would improve my photos, but it just doesn't work in that way, unfortunately. So some people will say, oh, well, yeah, it's all right for you because you've got X camera. But isn't it better that I say this, having owned newer cameras, rather than telling you that you need those newer cameras to be a successful photographer? So you don't need a new camera to take better pictures. You need to do the work needed to become a better photographer. You need to upgrade your technique and your mindset first, and your gear afterwards. If this resonates with you and you want help improving your photography and mindset, you can sign up to my newsletter in the link below. And I am about to launch my second cohort of one-to-one creative coaching. So there's also a link to that below. That's launching in the next few days. So go to the link below, get on the wait list, and I'll email you as soon as that launches. I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope this gives you a bit more confidence to use the gear you already have, and in turn, hopefully save you quite a bit of money. To learn more about why mindset is such an important part of photography, I've linked a playlist for you right here. I just tried to swipe my piece of paper up again. That's 4 times recently I've done that. I used to read my scripts off an iPad, and I do them all handwritten now, and you can't swipe a handwritten script up. You just got to look further down the page. Anyway.